my channel on YouTube, and I'm so happy to see you. Happy Sunday or Monday when you get this video, depending on how I feel. It's a very gloomy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Let's enjoy them while they're here. But let's go ahead and get into this video for today. Let's start off with Ready to Love. Okay, let's talk about this episode that we just saw. This is season 4, episode 11, Unfinished Business. Okay, so we opened up the episode, correct? And when we opened up the episode, of course, like we assumed, or excuse me, I assumed, AJ gives Kyra the option of, or do you want to stay? He didn't say, did you pick me? He said, do you want to stay? And she said, yes, I want to stay. Kyra even admitted, I never picked AJ. Even when he asked me the question, I didn't tell him picking him. I actually feel like Kyra wanted Jason the whole time, but didn't want to verbalize it. And I feel like throughout this episode, we see that she really wanted Jason, but for some reason didn't want to admit it and wanted to act like she had options and that, AJ was an option. But I feel like throughout this episode, it's like AJ never had a chance. It was all about Jason, but she played herself. And I think it's because she wanted to stay in the game. Where you're trying to protect yourself and you saw him getting close to Liz. So you try to make it seem like, okay, I don't really care that much, but then you do. But like she said, she never picked AJ. She never verbally said to him, I'm going to pick you. She always gave him a runaround. One thing that bothered me was when Kyra was expressing herself to AJ. AJ told her to slow it down. He kind of cut her off and didn't let her finish her thoughts. It's very messed up to me when... And let me say this, it's a pattern with AJ that he never wants to get deep for some reason, was what I'm feeling with these conversations that he has with when he had that date with Kyra and everybody was wondering if production paid for it or if he paid for it. And even when he was with Alexis and, he said, can I shut you up by kissing you? So AJ doesn't like to get into emotions. And I think he's the one who's very much so surface. So for him to be like, don't let her express herself. Because like she was saying, I want to leave here with someone, I think she's at that age where she's ready to, find the one and doesn't want to play games. But of course, I think this man really does have a communication issue and he needs to deal with it. And that's thunder outside. I also don't feel like he's someone you can have healthy conversations with, which also ties into how, he's not very expressive. And he, of course, doesn't want to see Kyra go. So he changes his mind and, decides to let Kyra stay. AJ said he's waited 4 years for a second date. So that means it's been 4 years since Kyra and AJ had that bad date, but it still left a bad taste in Kyra's mouth for that long. So, of course, AJ eliminates Alexis. And, Alexis says she's learned to love herself more. And I feel like Alexis has the right mindset, but it's not for this show. This show is full of mess. These men are very much so in older age, but they don't know how to act. I appreciate Alexis bringing in the spirituality into it, but I feel like it doesn't go really much so with this show, and it doesn't fit with this show. I mean, you can praise God anywhere you go. You can praise the Lord anywhere you go. But it just seems like, I don't think God will want you to go on a dating show with, probably a bunch of horny men to find love. See, the remaining 4 ladies go out and meet with Tommy. Now, when they meet with Tommy, Liz was confused, as all of us were, about why Kyra was there, because I'm pretty sure everyone assumed, or actually, Liz did say she felt that AJ and Alexis had a strong connection, or their connection was getting strong, so she didn't understand why Kyra was there. And Tommy tells the ladies that this is the time to get to know these guys and see if they can transition from being in a relationship to a commitment into a couple. I honestly feel like Kyra has a competition issue, because basically she's trying to make it seem like ain't no way that Jason picked Liz and this ain't right and he lied to me and the way he talked to me, it wasn't like this. And okay, I could understand the fact about the celibacy and waiting until marriage, that it might not be the case. I honestly feel like Liz might tap into that because her connection with Jason seems to be strong, that she might feel like, you know what, I have nothing to be afraid of, Jason. And maybe you guys were having sexual conversations and you felt like it was one thing, but I feel like she's just so in denial and doesn't want to accept the fact. And it's like, oh no, ain't no way he picked her. Oh, now he's a liar. Now she has unfinished business with him. First people we see to go on a date is Joel and Vernisha. Vernisha made some food. Joel is tasting it. Nothing really happened much, but she gave him a kiss and he's like, that's it. And I kind of got implications, or I got a little bit of him trying to initiate some sexual stuff rather than solidifying them, meaning like he's not saying, so what's next, as in, are we an official couple? I feel like he's saying what's next, as in, so we about to go to the bedroom. And even when, you know, it was closing out, you know, and when he had asked her who did she pick, she said, you, I always pick you, you're always my number one. And she's like, did you pick me? And he was like, yeah, of course I picked you. And she's like, oh, you know about the Kyra situation. But that was Joe and Vernisha. They're still picking one another. They're still, you know, holding it down. And we don't know if they did the do or not. So then we see Liz and Jason. So Liz and Jason, you know, they're meeting up at the restaurant. And basically, they're very happy. Liz is just so happy with Jason. And Jason is feeling so calm and happy with Liz. So, of course, because Liz is so unsure, she had to ask him, like, if Kyra had picked you, would we still be here? And he said, of course we would, you know, because he feels sure. And he did let her know, like, I went to get clarification from her and I didn't get what I needed. Also, he's like, wait right here. He goes to grab a white rose. I thought it was a bunch of roses, but I guess it was a single white rose. And he said he's only giving it to his mother and to his stepmother. And she's the third person because it signifies purity. And she's just so, like, basically just a good-hearted person and so pure. They're a couple, or they're working on being a couple. But it was just like, I mean, that's a bit, but at the end of the day, that's a really big deal. She cried, she appreciated it, and he took notice of her tears, as in she's really real about this. And I do feel she's really real about this, you know. It's just kind of a little crazy because he didn't notice Liz until she had on a dress that showed her body, which he calls her fine. But I just want to make sure their mentals are in the same level, because Jason can be mature, but he still has a little bit of immaturity. And I don't know, I hope they work out, but we shall see, because she's 40 or 41 and he's like 38 or 37, something like that. So it's not that far apart, but their dynamic is a little strange, I'm not gonna lie. We see Chris and Amber, they meet up outside somewhere, and of course Chris has to make sure, hey, you and Ron ain't got nothing going on. She's like, oh, I haven't spoken to him in a minute, but you was all up in his mouth, right? Okay. So they're sitting down, they're having a conversation, and Chris gets emotional because Amber had let him know, like, yeah, you know, I always feel good when I'm around you. This is a real thing and whatnot. So her saying that made him feel secure in their situation. And then he gets emotional. And he said that, you know, he just feels good. So they get to talking about the course of, you know, kids. And she said she only wants one. And that takes me back. And it's like, I knew you didn't want 5 kids, Amber. Because I could tell off rip by the way she had responded to that question. And the way her ex looked at her like, you really want to do that? I could tell off rip, like, she don't want 5 kids. And she verified that she only want 1 kid for now. Just say you want 1 kid. You don't have to say for now. Just say you want 1 kid. And then, of course, he says that he's on a semen retention. I guess he wants to be celibate or wait until marriage. And Amber ain't got time for none of that. She said, oh, I could persuade you. Once you see my body, you ain't going to be able to do that. And he said, I've been backed up. So there's going to be some triplets in there. And I'm not going to lie to you, I felt kind of sick when I heard that, because I'm like, you didn't have to say that. You could have kept that to yourself. But that was cute or whatever, but we'll see what happens with them. But Amber says she ain't waiting for no damn marriage, for no sex, okay? Then we see Kyra and AJ meet up. Kyra and AJ meet up. They're in a little booth area. I don't know if it's a restaurant or a lounge. Let's just go a lounge. She said that Jason's been on her mind and she's now going to give AJ a fair shot, which I feel like Kyra is so full of it, because You made it seem like you were so confused between two guys. And now that when you find out that Jason didn't pick you, now you're telling us that, oh, you never had AJ as an option. It's always been Jason. Oh, I always, was thinking about Jason, so I'm going to give AJ a fair shot. But you didn't say that before. So you played yourself, sis. You played yourself. She said she wanted to move forward and that he's showing her the man that he is. They're not gonna work out. It didn't work out the first time. It's not gonna work out this time. I feel like, because I'm gonna think about my situation, right? You meet someone when you're younger at another time in life. It's not always when you meet them a second time when you're older and mature that means y'all should get together. Sometimes you could just be a check in and check out, like, hey, nice to see you and whatever, and not give it a shot. Because I feel like a lot of times we take it as, hey, I haven't seen this person in so long and now I see them. This must be a sign. This must be from God. Let me try it again. Sometimes it's just like, maybe it was just for you to see your progress and see where you was and where you have come. So let's not, because this is another example. Okay. It could have been like, this is a second chance for the both of us. And no, it's not working out. So then the ladies go back up to meet with Tommy. They discuss their dates with the guys and what's going on and what's happening. And when Liz is explaining her date with Jason to the ladies, she just scoffed. She scoffed. And Liz said, I hear you making all that noise, but I'm not going to stoop to your level. I'm not going to go down there with you because you're doing too much and you're just hurt. And she didn't say I was hurt. I feel like it's eating her alive that, she was trying to protect herself, I guess. And trying to go to the end. Because she told both Jason and AJ she wants to wait till she gets to the end to make her final decision. So I don't know if she's genuinely hurt. Or is she hurt because she's not going to make it to the end. I don't know what it is. But it's really weird. But very much so dismissing his connection with Liz. Very much so, kind of giving off that, girl, who are you? I'm a little better than you. I know he's feeling me more. And there's no way. And there's a mistake. It was a glitch. It was a glitch in Jason's system. He didn't really mean to pick you, Liz. He really meant me. So everyone, asked her if she wants to have a final conversation with him to, settle this because she feels confused. And she's making it seem like he played her. So they finally meet up and Jason's like, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what's going on. I already made my decision. But hey, let's do this. And she can never come out and say what it is. So he's like, so what? Why are we here? What is this about? What do you want? So she asked him something along the lines of, if I had gave you clarity that day, would you still have chosen Liz or something like that? And he said, yes. It kind of gets to that point where you compare like the person who's been real with me the whole time and the person who's been playing games. It's like, let me go with the person who's been secure and making me secure because they're not taking me on a chase to try to figure them out. I think that it was no point of her to tell him that she wanted to choose him or whatever, but she says that she feels like he, wanted her to make a decision. He had two choices, but I kind of feel like he probably wanted you to tell him what you wanted so that way it would probably persuade his decision more. But you not making a decision proves to him like, okay, you ain't about that. And she says she wants to be friends. She hates that they're in a situation. But I think she really wants to just be mad at Jason. And Jason shut it down. He said, listen, you know what? All right, nah, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. There you go. You're being interrogated. Like, you're interrogating me. And, there's nothing you can do. And then we get to the final dinner, but I don't know how that's a dinner when everybody was standing up at their table and there was no seats and there was no food. That wasn't a dinner. That wasn't a formal, official dinner, but if you say so. Everybody's standing up. We see, Jason and Liz walk in together. Vernasia and Joelle meet each other at the door. Amber and Chris walked in together. Liz and Jason look happy. Amber and Chris look happy. Vernasia and Joelle look happy. AJ and Kyra said she sees Jason and Liz and she feels the type of way, but she's here with AJ and da-da-da. And I'm like, because it just doesn't make any sense and it's baffling because it's like, did you really want Jason the whole time, but you were trying to protect AJ's feelings? So Tommy shows up and he tells everyone that the last step is to meet the family. You know, everybody thought this was and not everyone. Somebody said they thought this was the end, but here he go throwing something like a wrench into it. And Kyra feels like, oh no, this isn't gonna be good. AJ feels like, oh no, this isn't gonna be good. Jason tells Liz, my mom is a female version of me. I think also AJ said it was a little too early for this. But if y'all went on dates a few years ago, 4 years ago, why is it a problem? Y'all already knew one another. Y'all just getting back to getting to one another again. Hey. Hey. And that was it. That was the episode. We'll see next week when they meet up the families what's going to happen. I hope you guys enjoyed my review for this episode of Ready to Love. Please don't forget to like this video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and come back for more. Emerald Blue, and I'm out.